In the dark, one question remains. Welcome. Questions before sleep. Have you ever looked at a group of Japanese people and wondered, why do they all look so similar? Is it something in their genes, their culture, or maybe just an illusion created by the media? Let's dive deep into the fascinating science, history, and psychology behind this mystery. First, let's clear one thing up. Japanese people are not identical. Just like any other population, Japan is full of individual differences. Different facial shapes, eye sizes, skin tones, and body structures. But the reason many outsiders think they look the same comes from a mix of biology, culture, and perception bias. Let's start with biology. Japan is one of the most genetically homogeneous countries in the world. For thousands of years, Japan was isolated from the rest of Asia by the sea. That isolation meant fewer outside genes entering the population compared to more diverse regions like Europe or the Americas. As a result, most Japanese people share similar genetic traits: dark hair, brown eyes, and lighter skin tones than their Southern Asian neighbors. But again, these are general trends, not exact copies. Now let's talk about facial features. The Japanese archipelago was originally inhabited by two major groups, the Jomon and the Yayoi. The Jomon people who lived there thousands of years ago had deeper facial features, wider eyes, and curlier hair. The Yayoi, who migrated from mainland Asia around 2,000 years ago, had flatter faces, straighter hair, and smaller noses. Modern Japanese people are a mix of both, but over time, the Yayoi traits became more dominant. That's why most Japanese faces tend to look smoother and more uniform compared to Western features. But genetics isn't the only factor. Culture and beauty standards also play a massive role. Japanese culture values harmony, modesty, and balance, and that often extends to appearance. Many people in Japan follow similar fashion trends, makeup styles, and even hairstyles that fit within cultural expectations. Think about school uniforms, corporate suits, or even K-pop-inspired haircuts. When everyone dresses and styles themselves in a similar way, differences between faces become less noticeable. There's also the power of media representation. When people outside Japan are exposed to Japanese faces, it's often through anime, movies, or pop idols. These industries tend to feature a specific type: fair-skinned, symmetrical faces, and neat black hair. So the image of the Japanese look that foreigners see is really just a media stereotype, not the full picture of Japan's diversity. But there's another reason, and it's not about Japan at all. It's about you and how your brain works. Humans are wired to recognize faces from their own ethnic group better than faces from others. Psychologists call this the cross-race effect, or the other race effect. When you grow up surrounded by people of your own race, your brain becomes fine-tuned to notice the small differences, the shape of the eyes, the distance between the eyebrows, the curve of the mouth. But when you see faces from another ethnic group that you're less familiar with, your brain doesn't pick up on those subtle variations. It generalizes. So to many Westerners, Asian faces look the same, just as many Asians say that Westerners all look the same. It's not racism. It's just neuroscience. Still, there's something deeper. Japan's culture has long emphasized group identity over individualism. From childhood, people are encouraged to fit in rather than stand out, in school, in work, even in fashion. So the harmony you see in Japanese faces is also reflected in how society functions, a sense of unity, similarity, and shared purpose. But let's not forget, Japan is changing fast. Younger generations are experimenting more with looks, hair color, fashion, and even plastic surgery. International marriages are also increasing, adding new genetic variety to future generations. So the Japan of tomorrow might look a lot more diverse than the Japan you imagine today. So do Japanese people really look the same? No. They just share a unique combination of genetics, history, and culture that gives them a certain resemblance. The rest is our brain's trick, shaped by what we're used to seeing. Next time you visit Japan or see a crowd of people there, take a closer look. You'll start noticing how different they actually are. The subtle smiles, the shapes of their eyes, the tones of their skin. And then you'll realize something beautiful. The more you look for differences, the more you see the uniqueness in everyone. Because in the end, the question isn't why do Japanese people look alike? It's why do we think they do?